It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Colorado Rockies. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Dodger Stadium, final game of the four-game series with Colorado. They have split the previous 12, and today it'll be Ricky Nolasco on the mound going up against Ulysses Chacin. Nolasco came to the Dodgers with a record of 5-8. He is 1-0 thanks to a great outing against Arizona, and Chacin brings out a good, solid 8-4 record when he goes to the mound. Most managers hate having a day off. For Don Mattingly, he has the problem of 4 days off with a ball club that has won 17 of 21 and 14 of 17 within the Western Division. In fact, the Dodgers are unbeaten in their last 8 series, and should they win today over Colorado and win the series, that would give them 6 in a row. Realistically, however, with all the good numbers, the Dodgers are still 2.5 games behind Arizona. We'll get to the ball game and a whole lot more coming up right after this. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by the Hyundai 100,000 Reasons event, now through July 31st. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. And by Jack in the Box. Go big at a Jack in the Box near you with Jack's new Big Stack Burger.
Smoking hot summer Sunday out at Chavez Ravine. Dodgers and the Rockies for the last time in the first half of the season. I would love to tell you the temperature, but my smartphone is actually shut down with the temperature warning. Hot. Let's just say it's over 90. Jim Watson, Steve Lyons. Last game of the first half of the season. Dodgers are rolling. They've won 17 out of 21, so you'd think they'd want to keep playing. But, Steve, they also have some guys that have been hurt. Puig Crawford, Kemp, chance to get those guys healthy.
Yeah, double-edged sword. This team is playing really well, so you want them to keep playing, but there's too many guys that are hurt or banged up. You look, even in today's lineup, you got 3 or 4 guys out of the lineup that aren't injured, but they're not in the lineup because they're banged up and hurt. Kemp, Crawford, Puig, Lilly, Fife, even Mark Ellis out of the lineup today need to get those 3 days off and come back healthy and start a second half.
Since June 22nd, no team in Major League Baseball has been as hot as the Los Angeles Dodgers. On that day, there were 9.5 games back. Now they're 2.5. They have passed 3 teams. Steve, the Dodgers are poised to make a run in the second half. Who goes with them? Where's the horse race?
Well, to me, it's really important for the Dodgers to play consistently better. I think they're heading in that direction for the rest of this season. But when you look at the Diamondbacks and what they've been able to do, they are the team that are in first place right now, so you can't count them out. I also look at these Colorado Rockies. If they get any pitching at all, they have a devastating offensive lineup. You'll see some of those guys in that lineup today, so I think they can make a run as well.
Ricky Nolasco makes his Dodger debut today. He's been here before, but that was in a Marlins cap. Now the kid from Corona, in front of 56,200 close friends and family, toes the rubber in a Dodger blue hat for the first time in his career. Final game of the first half.
May be a gorgeous summer's day here in Los Angeles, and the final game of the 4-game series with the Rockies, and the final game before the All-Star break, which will be on Tuesday the 16th at Citi Field in New York. Dodgers and Rockies push against shove. Walt Weiss and his ball club and the Dodgers have split the previous 12. We won't see the Rockies again for a while. We'll see them on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in September, and then the last 3 games of the year here at Dodger Stadium. We'll take a look at Walt Weiss's lineup, and it reads this way. Dexter Fowler in center field, DJ LeMahieu at second base, and Carlos Gonzalez in left field. Troy Tulowitzki at shortstop, Michael Kadaya in right field, Todd Helton at first base, Willen Rosario the catcher, Nolan Arenado at third, Ulysses Chacin on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Ricky Nolasco. Actually, we should call him his full name, Carlos Enrique Nolasco. Born the middle of December in 1982, so he is 30 years old, 31 the next birthday, and a native of Corona, lives now in Rialto, graduated from Rialto High School. Dexter Fowler, Daddy Longlegs, will lead it off. The fleet-footed center fielder, switch hitter, grounds one foul, and we're underway. One of the things the Rockies have from Walt Weiss, they have a green light. They run. They have 70 stolen bases, tops in the league. And, of course, one of the leaders of the pack is Dexter Fowler, who is 13 of 15. He takes inside and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. 83 degrees, just about right. The caution, of course, for the folks who might be listening in the ballpark, a lot of water and sunblock as Fowler takes a look at a pitch up and away, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. So Ricky Nolasco, certainly big enough, 6'2", 225. Great size for a major league pitcher. And meanwhile, Fowler bangs one into right field. Racing over to get it is Schumacher. Fowler is into second base and will stop there as the throw comes into Punto. So an opening shot by Dexter Fowler, a double into the right field corner. We'll take a look at the Dodgers with the letter, and they shape up this way. Gonzalez and Punto, Ramirez and Hairston. The outfield, Van Slyke, Ethier, and Schumacher, and the catcher, A.J. Ellis. So Nolasco in trouble right away, and DJ LeMahieu checking in. Fowler, who runs so well, came in hitting .281. That's his 14th double. And here's LeMahieu batting .271. Hairston about even with the bag at third. Pickoff throw to Ramirez, not in time. So we're just starting. And LeMahieu up there trying to pick up Dexter Fowler. LeMahieu is from Visalia, but he has moved, lives in Bloomfield, Michigan. He was originally drafted by the Cubs. He was going to school at LSU. He shows bunt and fouls it away, and the count 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. DJ LeMahieu. He's 6'4" and 210. Big, especially for a second baseman. Right-handed all the way. Born in Visalia, and then the family moved over to Las Vegas and then eventually to Michigan. His dad was the one who really taught him how to play the right way. He swings, hits one foul down the right field line out of play, and the count 0-2. The Detroit Tigers wanted to sign him in his senior year in high school. He committed to the baseball scholarship to LSU, passed on Detroit, and went to college instead. So LeMahieu waiting. Nolasco hands it aside, now set at the belt, takes a look back at second, a long look, now to the plate, and LeMahieu faces the slider, and down he goes. So LeMahieu strikes out, 1 away, and the batter, an all-star, Carlos Gonzalez, followed by another all-star, and that would be Troy Tulowitzki. So LeMahieu has 1 out, a runner at second, and as tough an out as there is in the league. Carlos Gonzalez at the plate. Carlos was talking about when he was a little boy, and he was saying he never had any toys. And you say, oh, poor guy, you never had. No, he said, I don't mean I never had them. But he said, what I would do, I'd get a toy, I'd throw it up in the air and hit it with a bat. He said, I've been hitting things ever since I can remember. And he has made a very nice living out of it as he takes the first pitch inside, ball 1. Cargo, as they call him with great affection, hitting .301, 22 doubles, 6 triples, and 25 home runs. He is a group picture all by himself. The Gonzalez waiting. Nolasco set at the belt. Ramirez up the middle directly behind Fowler to hold him on. Meanwhile, the pitch is whacked down the right field line, foul. Bill Cargo hits it hard but foul, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Gonzalez figures to be around, especially with Colorado, for quite some time. He signed a 7-year deal at the end of 2011, so that should carry him through 18 at least. He's had a couple of Gold Gloves in 2010 and 12. The 1-1 pitch high and away, ball 2. Hanley Ramirez taking advantage of the fact there's a left-hand hitter at the plate. So he's been moving way over directly behind Fowler, trying to take a step away from him. on a play that could pay off at the plate. 2-1 the count to Carlos Gonzalez. A couple of years ago, Gonzalez hit for the cycle. He's that kind of a hitter. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Ricky Nolasco. Right-handed deals, and it's foul back, and the count 2-2. So far this year, in breaking down Carlos Gonzalez's work, at home 11 home runs, on the road 14, at home 39 RBIs, on the road 25, at home hitting .280 and hitting better than .320 on the road. So he is one tough hombre one way or another from Maracaibo in Venezuela. And with all of his abilities, it's hard to realize he's only 27. And he takes the pitch that misses, and the count goes 3-2. Dodgers with those brilliant numbers, having won 17 out of 21, unbeaten in their last 8 series. If they win today, that means they will have won 6 straight series. But still, the cautionary number, with all of that, they're 2.5 games back. 3-2 the count to Carlos Gonzalez. Here comes Nolasco, down and in the dirt, blocked nicely by Ellis on ball 4. So in a moment, runners at first and second, 1 out, and another all-star coming up, and that would be Troy Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki had a bad break, and no pun intended, but he broke a rib, and that has slowed him down a bit. It takes at least a broken rib to slow Tulo down anyway. Tulowitzki, who spent only 14 months in the minor leagues before becoming a major leaguer, hitting .338, 16 home runs, 52 runs batted in. He is big and he is strong. He's 6'3", 215. He grew up in Sunnyvale up north. Went to school at Long Beach State. Wears number 2 in honor of the Yankee great shortstop Gary Jeter. So here is Tulo waiting. 2 on, 1 out. Tulowitzki rested yesterday, the game before. He had a scoring fly ball and went 0 for 2. He takes off the plate on a check swing. No swing, says Jeff Nelson. And a 1-ball, no strike count. Corey Blazer is the plate umpire. And as far as the Rockies are concerned, he's a local boy. He lives in Colorado. Been a minor league umpire for 10 years. 1 ball and no strikes the count. A look back at Fowler. Now the pitch to the plate. High fly ball to left. Van Slyke is there. Waiting, makes the catch, and the runners have nowhere to go. So Tulowitzki a fly ball, 2 down, and Michael Kadire coming up. Kadire, another main force in the Colorado attack. Kadire hitting .329, 15 home runs, 52 runs batted in. Second in the league in hitting at .329. He also has 18 doubles. So Kadire, strong right-hand batter, checks in. Out of a stretch is Nolasco, looks back at Fowler, double checks Fowler, and the pitch of the plate taken for a strike. Naturally, when you have somebody as strong as Kadire, right-hand batter, your third baseman is pretty deep at third base. So, of course, the door is open for Dexter Fowler should he try to steal. The strike 1 pitch ready. Here comes Nolasco, and the pitch is low and inside. Michael Kadire, born in Norfolk, Virginia. He lives in Chesapeake, Virginia. He hit for the cycle when he was with Minnesota back in 2009. Signed for a huge bonus by Minnesota. 1-1 pitch on the way. Kadire takes high, ball 2. He's 6'2" and 220. 34 years old. Kadire had some great years with Minnesota. from 0-2 right up through 11. Then last year came over to the Rockies. 2-1 pitch on the way. Kadai hits it in the air to center, coming up in a hurry and makes the catch on a bounce. So the run is in, and taking third is Gonzalez. So Andre Ethier unable to get there, and a little looping fly ball single, and the Rockies are on the board 1-0. Interesting, in game one, the Rockies scored in the first inning. They scored 2 and went on to win 3-0. Yesterday, the Dodgers scored in the first inning, and that was the only run of the game, 1-0. We had that interesting stat about how things go for Colorado. When the opposing team scores first, they were like 0-21. And then if they score first, they're like 19-2 or 3, something like that. Anyway, they have scored first. And the batter is Todd Helton. Todd takes low, ball 1. Some conjecture in Denver that Todd will call it a career, and a great career it has been. He'll be 40 in the offseason. He's still a threat. 2,469 hits in his career, and he has spent it wearing out the Dodgers. Slow breaking ball for a strike. He is number 1 against the Dodgers in his career in hits, runs, home runs, RBIs, extra base hits, and walks. Here are those numbers as far as the Rockies are concerned. If the opposition scores first, they're 0-22. If the Rockies score first, they are 19-7. Zach Greinke pitched an unbelievable game yesterday, allowing only 1 ball out of the infield all day, and that was the base hit by guess who? Yep, Todd Helton. And there were high pop fly back at third. Fighting the sun is Hairston in foul ground and makes the catch for the out. So Helton fouls out, but the Rockies get a run. And at the end of half an inning, Rockies 1, Dodgers coming out. Be coming up now, but take a look at their lineup, and for Don Mattingly it goes this way. Skip Schumacher will open up in right field, followed by Nick Punto at second base, Adrian Gonzalez at first, and Hanley Ramirez at short. Andre Ethier in center, A.J. Ellis behind the plate, Scott Van Slyke left, Gary Hairston at third, Ricky Nolasco on the mound. On the mound for Colorado, Ulysses Chacin, and he has really been pitching up a dandy. His last 6 starts, he's 5-1 and an earned run average of 2. He is 7-5 lifetime with the Dodgers, and coming into the game, he has a record of 8-4. Chacin ready to go to work, and the Dodgers trying to go after him, down 1-0. Couple of things about Chacin. The Rockies record 10-7 when he starts a game, and he begins with a strike to Schumacher. Ulisse is from Maracaibo in Venezuela. 6'3", 215. Right-handed comes back with a pitch fouled off, and the count 0-2. So Skip Schumacher leading off for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the first inning. We can also tell you Milwaukee leading Arizona 3-0 in the first inning. Now the strike 2 pitch on the way. Schumacher takes low and away, ball 1. Skip hitting .255. 16 runs batted in, no home runs. Playing right field today. Has to pull away from a pitch inside, and the count 2-2. So Schumacher trying to get something started here in the first inning. The next one to Schumacher, swung on and foul back. Interesting little background on today's game. Should the Dodgers win today, it will be only the second time Dodgers would have won 3 out of 4 in a 4-game series, with Clayton Kershaw being the losing pitcher. The next one, a little roller by the mound, charging LeMahieu, feeds, and it is too late. Walt Weiss will argue with Jeff Nelson, but Schumacher was just able to beat the play on a little roller to second base. And the Dodgers have a man aboard, nobody out, with Punto, Gonzalez, and Ramirez coming up. Weiss just had to get it out of his system. It was a close play, bang bang as they call them. Little roller, Chacin couldn't get it. LeMahieu was deep, and his soft undertoss too late. Clayton Kershaw leading the cheers in the Dodger dugout with that towel draped around his neck. He's got a date to go to New York for the All-Star game. But the other time came in 2010. The Dodgers won 3 out of 4 against the Pirates. And the wins went to Billingsley, Ortiz, and Kuroda. But we'll see about that. Punto runs up as if to bunt and takes ball 1, 1-0. Yesterday, Mark Ellis fouled a ball down, base of his shin and ankle. A big lump appeared, sore leg. So he's resting, although he's in there cheering. And Punto playing second base. 1 ball and no strikes, the count. Out of a stretch goes Chacin. The next pitch is swung on, hit in the air down the right field line. Hooking more into the corner and coming over to make the catch is Kadire, maybe 5 to 6 feet away from the box seats. So that was close to a home run. Instead, just a long fly ball to right. 1 away, Adrian Gonzalez coming up. By the way, just a note about the All-Star game and the Dodgers. Remember, they had the player vote. Adrian was one of the 5. There was also Ian Desmond. There was also Freddie Freeman and Yasiel Puig. Freeman jammed his left thumb yesterday and will not be able to play in the All-Star game. Throw to first, diving back is Schumacher. So Don Mattingly was asked, well, what happens about Puig if they ask him to replace the injured Freeman? And Mattingly said, I don't really care. If he wants to go, okay. So we'll see whether Puig, who has that bad hip. There goes Schumacher, hit and run ground ball to the right side. The only play is to first. So 2 down. Schumacher is now in scoring position. And the batter will be Hanley Ramirez. Gonzalez, little ground ball. So it seems like several of the All-Stars are not even going to twinkle. They will not be there, which happens every year. So many of them get banged up during the course of the regular season. And even though they're voted in, they can't play. Puig could be just another classic case where he can't make it, but Kershaw can. And we're still in the first inning. Schumacher at second with 2 out. And here's Hanley Ramirez trying to pick him up and get the Dodgers even. Ramirez hitting .395, 8 home runs, 25 runs batted in, and the pitch is low, ball 1. So Hanley's hitting .395, Puig is hitting .392, and he can't play. So that shatters the thought that we had, a week ago about whether the Dodgers would have 2 players hitting .400 at the All-Star break. It can't happen. The 1-0 pitch, high and tight, and almost got him. 2-0 the count to Hanley Ramirez. You have to go back to 1931. Hall of Famers Al Simmons, who hit 403, and the great catcher Mickey Cochran hit 403. They went to the All-Star game. Dodgers thought they might have a couple, but not quite. So Hanley back up after a purpose pitch to drive him off the plate. 2-0 the count. Chacin out of a stretch. Hanley waiting. And the 2-0 pitch on the way. Fastball very high. Ball 3. 3-0. Ulysses Chacin looking at Hanley Ramirez. Hanley's 0 for 5. So in case you're wondering about who's trying to knock him down or something, he hasn't hurt him in the past. The 3-0 pitch is swung on, and Ramirez swung so hard his helmet came flying off on a foul ball, and the count 3-1. So I would think he put a little anger on that swing. I mean, he wound up and let it fly. 3-1. 2 down, first inning, 1-0 Colorado. The Dodgers have Schumacher at second base with 2 out. Hanley trying to pick him up. Chacin out of his stretch. Another look back, and the pitch of the plate, and that's taken inside. Ball 4. Ramirez slings the bat over his shoulder as he goes to first, and that will bring up Andre Ethier. So first and second, 2 out. Here's Ethier. Now Andre against Chacin is another story. Andre hitting .271 against the league, but he's batting .409 against Chacin. 9 hits and a home run. So it would appear the Dodgers have the right man up there with 2 out, first inning, 1-0 Rockies. To repeat, Milwaukee jumped out with 3 in the first inning against Arizona. Chacin ready and delivers. Fastball away. 1 ball and no strikes. Out to the mound goes Willen Rosario. Chacin coming into the game about 2-1. Walks to strikeouts. Brief word or 3 from Rosario, who then goes back behind the plate. So the Rockies got a run in the first inning. Meanwhile, Paul Weiss, who had argued about the close play at first, trying to get out of here with a split. The Rockies are 5.5 games behind Arizona. Wonder about the Dodgers last year at the All-Star break. You may have forgotten they were a half a game in front. The 1-0 pitch, breaking ball, drops in at the last moment, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 on, 2 out, 1-0. Favor of the Rockies. Chacin 7-5 lifetime against the Dodgers, and his 1-1 pitch on the way taken off the plate, ball 2. Since June 1st, Chacin 5-1 in 10 starts. The Rockies have been 6-2 over that stretch. Started off slowly. His first 9 starts, he was 3-3. 2-1 pitch coming up, and that swung on and lifted off the plate to the left. Rosario comes back and backhands it right at the railing. Fine play by Willen Rosario, and the Dodgers come up empty. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. And at the end of an inning, Rockies 1, Dodgers 0. Than a babe in arms with her little bonnet on, drinking some water, which is a great idea, while nestled comfortably in Dad's lap. We have a moment to salute Zach Greinke. What a game yesterday. 2 hours and 17 minutes, a 2-hit shutout, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. Interesting, he is 28-2 at home. His record for the year, he picked up yet another victory, so he is now 8-2 for the season. So a brilliant start and game for Greinke to give the Dodgers a big lift and win it 1-0. Now we go to the second inning. Willen Rosario, the catcher for Denver, leading off, and he checks up on a pitch. They look, no swing, says Jeff Nelson. 1 ball and no strikes. Rosario is one of the better hitting catchers in the game, hitting .276. Rosario with 77 base hits. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way, and that's swung on and missed, and the count 1-1. One other note about Zach Greinke: only 1 ball got out of the infield all day. That was a single by Helton. There were no fly ball outs at all. You talk about a dominant performance. So for Ricky Nolasco, a tough act to follow. And the 1-1 pitch to Rosario, check swing foul into the crowd down the right field line. 1-2. Milwaukee leading Arizona 3-0 at the end of an inning. They got to Ian Kennedy for 3 quickly. Kennedy is really struggling, besides of course having a bad rep with the Dodgers. He's 3-5 and his earned run average is 5.5. You know, just 2 years ago Ian Kennedy was a 21 game winner. 1-2 the count to Willen Rosario. Rosario in and out of the box. There was another great game pitch yesterday in the National League as Rosario fouls to the wall. That's the fact that Tim Lincecum of the Giants pitched a no-hitter against San Diego. He had to work to get it. It was a 148 pitch no-hitter. The only time in Major League history the losing pitcher in a no-hitter went on to throw the next no-hitter in the big leagues. You had to go back to 1906. The 1-2 pitch, good, breaking ball, drops in for strike 3. Rosario can't believe it, but it was a late breaker and dropped in the zone. So second strikeout for Ricky Nolasco. That thing was 75 miles an hour, just a big rainbow curve. So 1 away. Nolan Arenado coming up. So Lincecum, who was the losing pitcher when Homer Bailey turned in a gem on July 2nd, 11 days later, he pitches a no-hitter of his own. Foul ball off to the right, out of play. 0-1 the count to Nolan. 0-1. Arenado from Lake Forest, hitting .247, 7 home runs, 27 ribbies, and he takes an off-speed pitch for a strike. Arenado 0 for 6, but he did score a run. 0 for 6 in the series. Nolan, right-hand batter. Nolasco ready. Ricky comes back, and it's swung on and missed. Slider way off the plate. So Arenado just going after a bad ball, as the kids used to say, going fishing. 2 down. That will bring up the pitcher, Jhoulys Chacín. Chacín is hitting .200, but he does have 7 hits, 2 runs batted in. What makes him dangerous, he's only struck out 8 times. So if you make contact, anything can happen. He backs off, takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Jhoulys with 7 hits waiting. The next one is down and away. He wouldn't bite. 1-1 the count. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the second, A.J. Ellis, Scott Van Slyke, and Jerry Hairston. Nolasco from the third base side, then shifts to the first base side, and the breaking ball is swung on and missed, and the count 1-2. So Ricky came in here 5-8 with the Marlins, 1-0 with the Dodgers, and 6-2 lifetime against Colorado. His 1-2 pitch, overhand breaking ball, lifted foul behind the plate and out of play. 3 rows back behind the screen, and the count remains 1-2. Following the All-Star break, which is Tuesday, the Dodgers will begin play again on Friday the 19th. They'll have 3 with Washington and then 3 with Toronto. Dodgers won 2 out of 3 here against Washington. The next pitch, check swing, no swing, says Jeff Nelson, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Two and two, 2 out, bases empty, 1-0 Rockies second inning, and the next one, little slider that missed. So Nolasco goes 3-2 to Chacin with Dexter Fowler on deck. Rickey looks in, gets a sign. Now the 3-2 pitch on the way. Chacin takes, and it is off the plate, ball 4. So that would be the second walk given up by Nolasco. When Rickey pitched over in Phoenix, he had about 40 people in the stands, including Emilio, his dad. And of course, Emilio, who was born in Mexico, came to the United States as a 19-year-old and fell in love with the Dodgers. So Rickey was brought up here in Dodger Stadium by his dad. The slow breaking ball is a strike. 0-1 to Dexter Fowler, who doubled in the right field corner and scored a run in the first inning. No balls and 1 strike. Nolasco back, fastball on the hands. That's going to be drilled into right center, and it will fall. Cutting it off is Schumacher to get it back in. Going over to third is Chacin. So a 2-out single by Fowler, who is now 2 for 2. And the batter will be E.J. LeMahieu. Fly ball single. Chacin going from first to third. LeMahieu struck out in the first inning. So Ricky Nolasco gave up a run in the first inning, in a little trouble here with 2 down. Just looking up Dexter Fowler, he was 1 for 7 in the past against Nolasco, and he is 2 for 2 today. LeMahieu, right-hand hitting second baseman, fastball in at the knees for a strike, and the count 0-1. Ricky hits 93 on the gun. In the past, whenever Ricky would pitch, his dad would either send him congratulations or you'll get him next time. But now his dad can be right here to watch him. Strike 1 pitch on the way, swung on, big chopper to third, short hop, but a throw to first is in time. We had to wait for the call. Adrian Gonzalez was actually making the catch in foul ground while keeping 1 foot anchored on the pad. It was a terribly tough play for Hairston, and he made it. High chopper. He had to charge, gobble it, throw off balance. It was offline, and Adrian made the play. So at the end of an inning and a half, it's still just 1-0 Colorado. And a 2-out single by Michael Kadaya got the run in. Gary Hairston making a very tough play and saved a run. Otherwise, Chassin would have scored. Take another look. On the run, you have to short hop. He knows he doesn't have time. He has to transfer to his bare hand and throw. It's off balance and out of line. And then a Gold Glove saves him. A fine play by Adrian Gonzalez. Boy, you talk about teamwork. You needed excellent play at each end, and they got it. A.J. Ellis, Scott Van Slyke, and then Jerry Hairston. Ulysses Chassin on the mound. A.J. waiting at the plate. Chassin's first pitch in there for a strike, and the count 0-1. Ellis, who has done a marvelous job at both ends with the bat and with the glove, hitting .267. And he has been a power in throwing out the opposition, trying to steal. And he might very well be tested today because you have the runningest team in the National League, the Colorado Rockies. 1-1 the count to A.J. Ellis. Chassin looks, gets the sign. A.J. hitting .267, takes a strike, and the count 1-2. It is typical of A.J. Ellis to get deep in the count. He's always up there, averaging more than 4 pitches in at bat during the course of an at bat. So 1-2 the count. 1-0 Rockies, bottom of the second. And the next pitch, check swing, pitch in the dirt, and he's been obviously called out by the plate umpire Corey Blazer. So we have one away. A reminder, bring the kids to Dodger Stadium Sunday the 28th at 1:10. Dodgers and Reds. The first 15,000 kids 14 and under in attendance receive their own set of Dodger sunglasses, compliments of the Korea Tourism Organization. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. One away, second inning, and the first pitch to Van Slyke in for a strike. 0-1. Boy, this game of baseball is amazing. Do you remember when the Dodgers were in spring training and they had so many starting pitchers? Oh my gosh, we have 8 starting pitchers. We just don't know how to handle them. The pitch inside 1-1. Well, that eventually was resolved, but it took a long time, and they no longer have 8 starting pitchers. They knew they had Kershaw, but where do you go from there? Well, they went with Ryu, and then of course Greinke, and the rest of it is history. The 1-1 pitch swung on him, missed. 1-2. Do you remember when Puig came up and Puig set the house on fire? And immediately Madeline was saying, wow, I've got 5 outfielders. I'm going to really have to match numbers. Who to start, who to sit down. Oh, really? The 1-2 pitch is a ground ball up the middle. That's going to be a base hit into center field. So all of a sudden, he went from 5 outfielders to 1. And the 1 outfielder is Andre Ethier, playing so, in some ways, out of position. So that you have Schumacher and Van Slyke playing today. So once you think you have too much, look out, and especially in baseball. 1-out single by Van Slyke will bring up Jerry Hairston, who made that wonderful play to save a run on the ball hit by LeMahieu. Jerry hitting .265, 1 home run, 12 runs batted in, and my, how the time flies. 1,400 games for him as of right now, and he takes a strike. 0-1. Considering the fact that Jerry has been kind of an in and out player, 1,400, that's a lot. Now the strike 1 pitch on the way. Chassin a look over at first. Hairston takes a strike, so he's in a hole. 0-2. Of course, over at first base you have Todd Helton. Almost 2,500 games and going strong. 0-2 the count. Hairston waiting. Nolasco on deck. Strike 2 pitch swung on, a drive to left field that's over the head of Gonzalez, and he goes to the wall and makes the catch anyway. Boy, a Gold Glove left fielder. He's already shown it the other night when he made a tremendous catch up against the bullpen gate on a ball hit by Hanley Ramirez. Now somehow he catches up to a ball that was over his head, reaches up and backhands it just before running into the wall. A wonderful play by Cargo. That's a cargo shipping gold out there in left field. So 2 down, and Ricky Nolasco, the batter. Carlos Gonzalez, he can sure do it all. And the first pitch, Nolasco in for a strike. In fact, the only thing with Carlos Gonzalez you could point out, well, he's made one mistake. He was caught stealing. What's his record as a stolen base man on the bases? 15-1. That's all. Plus a Gold Glove, plus a fine hitter, plus a power hitter. I mean, you get a whole package out there in left field in Carlos Gonzalez, rightfully so, an all-star. Nolasco waiting on a 1-1 count. Chacin stretches, comes to the plate, and works it high. Ball 2. Dodgers left 2 men in the first inning, and now losing an extra base hit and a possible run here in the second. 2-1 the count to Ricky Nolasco, who lakes a little low. Ball 3, 3-1. Waiting on deck, the Dodger leadoff hitter, Skip Schumacher. 3-1 pitch ready. Chacin sets up around the chin, comes over the top with a fastball, top part of the strike zone, and the count 3-2. "83 degrees at Dodger Stadium when the game started. Barely a zephyr out there moving the flags around. There goes Van Slyke, and the pitch high, ball 4. So each pitcher has walked the other. Chacin walked in the second inning, and now in the bottom half he proceeds to walk Nolasco. So 2 on, 2 out, 1-0 Colorado. Schumacher hit that slow roller to the right side. LeMahieu tried to make the play, couldn't do it, and Skip had a base hit. He's been a pest to the Rockies, hitting .387 against them this year with a dozen hits. Schumacher changed his number from 3 to 55, and the first pitch to him, slow breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. That hurried up there at 75 miles an hour. He went from 3 to 55 because 55 is what he wore when he was with the St. Louis Cardinals, and he said it feels more like me. The strike 1 pitch fouled away. The skipper, one number or the other, is in a hole. No balls and 2 strikes. It's amazing what numbers mean to players. Boy, some of them, in order to get a number worn by another teammate, very expensive Rolex watches, all kinds of things, just for the number. Who wore 55? Ramon Hernandez. Remember the veteran catcher? He was here for a little while. All right, 0-2 to Skip. Out of a stretch is Chacin. Checks the runners, right-handed deals. It's hit up along first base, foul. So Schumacher's still there, 0-2. Skip was born in Torrance, lives in Laguna Niguel, originally drafted in the 5th round by the Cardinals out of UC Santa Barbara, drafted in 2001. He had a 15-game hitting streak earlier this year. 0-2 the count. Chacin ready. Here he comes. Fastball swung on and missed, and down he goes. So the Dodgers lead 2 more. They've left 4, and at the end of 2 it remains Rockies 1, Dodgers 0. 1-0. Large crowd here, and as Andre and the rest of the ball club takes the field, we have a chance to tell you about the best record since June the 22nd. The Dodgers winning 17 of 21. The Rays 16 of 21. The Red Sox 13 of 20. But what is maybe more important, the fact that the Dodgers are 14-3 within the Western Division. I mean, those are the payoff wins, and they've gotten them to 2.5 back. Remember, they were 9.5 back before they found out a way to beat the West. By the way, Milwaukee leading Arizona now 4-0, top of the third. Brewers squeezed in the fourth run against Ian Kennedy in the second inning. And the first pitch outside as Gonzalez, would you believe, runs up to bunt. 1 ball and no strikes. I think in many ways the Dodgers would wish he would bunt. Gonzalez 25 home runs, 64 runs batted in. All around marvelous player. And the 1-0 pitch swung on, fouled away. 1-1. I don't know what happened to Adrian Gonzalez just on that swing by Cargo. Gonzalez spun around, grabbed his face. I don't know whether a fly bit him or what. The dreaded infield fly, no doubt. The 1-1 pitch on the way, a little high, ball 2-1. That was kind of a startling scene out of the corner of your eye. You see the pitch of the plate, and you see the first baseman swing his glove, spin around. Playing imaginary ball. 2-1 to count. Nolasco ready. Ricky's 2-1 pitch, and that's high. He walked Gonzalez in the first inning, and he's behind with him now. 3-1. Three and 1 the count. Nolasco turns ready. Right-hander delivers a change off the plate for ball 4. Here's Adrian Gonzalez. What we saw out of the corner of my eye. Look at this. And that was just that made the pitch to Adrian Gonzalez. I wasn't sure whether I had lost a line drive and Adrian was catching it, or just what the heck was going on. I think what it is, there are naturally a lot of little insects in the grass, and when it gets hot, they come up. And apparently playing deep for Gonzalez, he was near the rim, and the bugs or whatever coming up out of the grass. But he's obviously okay. Now here's Tulowitzki. Ground ball up the middle. Ramirez on the bag for 1 and doubles him easily at first. So quickly 2 out in the third inning. And the batter will be Michael Kadire. Kadire had the base hit to drive in a run in the first inning. A little fly ball single. Ethier could not quite get to it in time, and the run scored. Pretty consistent, hitting over 300 on the road, but really tearing it up at home. 362. So Kadire, right-hand batter. Nolasco ready. First pitch, line drive right at Punto. So down goes Kadire and the Rockies. And we're heading to the bottom of the third. 1-0 Colorado. A reminder, the Coca-Cola Value Pack is available for select Wednesday and Sunday Dodger home games. And with your purchase, you'll receive 4 tickets, 4 Dodger dogs, 4 Cokes, and now you'll get 4 bobbleheads from the 2013 season, all starting at $18 per ticket. For more info, visit Dodgers.com/value. Nick Punto, Adrian Gonzalez, and Hanley Ramirez. And the first pitch into Punto for a strike. Nick hit one down the right field line. Came within, I guess, 6 feet of hitting a home run. But it was caught by Michael Kadaya just inside the foul pole and just a few feet away from the seats. Nick takes high, 1 ball and 1 strike. Ulysses Chassin working on Punto, Gonzalez, and Ramirez. Chassin into his windup, 1-1 pitch. That's over for a strike. And the count 1-2. Chassin came in here with a record of 8-4. His high in victories, 11 for the Rockies. So he's on his way to perhaps his best year. The next pitch in there, strike 3 called, and down goes Punto. Let's face it, the Dodgers had a stretch. Remember, I think it was 9 out of 11 games they had 10 hits or more. And then this series, and what happened? They were shut out 3-0 in the first game. Came back yesterday to win 1-0. So they are scratching for runs. And now here with 1 out, Gabriel Gonzalez, who grounded out in the first inning. And the first pitch to Adrian, that misses for ball 1. 1-0. Gonzalez followed by Ramirez. 1-0 Colorado, bottom of the 3rd. The next pitch is grounded to the shallow right fielder, which in this case is LeMahieu, to throw him out. They put up the roadblock on the right side, and LeMahieu was out on the grass. So down goes Gonzalez. Hanley Ramirez walked in the first inning. Took a fastball first pitch high and right at his chin, and then proceeded to walk. Hanley Ramirez hitting .395 this year, .441 since the middle of June. He says he is hitting the ball as well as 2009, when he became the first shortstop to win the National League batting title. Since 1960, the Pirate shortstop Dick Groat. Big swing and a high foul. Coming back is Rosario and makes the catch for the out. So Hanley fouls out. Dodgers go quietly in the 3rd, and at the end of 3, it's still 1-0 Colorado. 1-0 Colorado. Time now for our Twitter poll. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game Tuesday on Fox. Who do you think will win it? Tweet hashtag AL wins or NL wins. We'll give you the results a little bit later on. Fourth inning, and the great Todd Helton, followed by Willen Rosario and Nolan Arenado. Ball one. 1-0 to Todd. Boy, time flies. He made headlines when he signed a 9-year deal and promptly hits one just over the glove of Ramirez. So for Helton, yet another base hit as he continues right to the very end tormenting the Dodgers. Can't remember a game that Helton didn't do something to help beat the club. Todd needs another 30 hits to have 2,500. He's not going to make 3,000, but he will get 2,500, which brings up a point. You look at Helton. He's been playing for the Rockies since 1997. He has piled up so many great numbers. He's hit as many as 49 home runs, knocked in as many as 147 runs. But nobody knows really whether he'll ever make it to the Hall of Fame for one reason. They don't have any parameters. They don't say, well, if you get 2,500 hits, you're guaranteed, or you get 250, 300 home runs, etc. Strike one pitch is low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tommy John isn't in the Hall of Fame. His name will live forever because of the operation. Tommy, I think, won 282 games, if my memory is correct, and yet he's not in. And there are a lot of other pitchers with less than 280 in the Hall of Fame. And again, if my memory is correct, Don Drysdale isn't close to 280, and yet Big D went in. So it's just impossible to figure out who is going to wind up in the Hall of Fame. It would make a lot of sense if they made some decisions, because it would also be a good public relations gimmick. There's a high fly ball, but not going very far. Van Slyke catches it on the run, and Helton back to first. You can just imagine if you get to a player and you've established, well, let's just say 2,500 hits, and he's got 2,485, and he's on the road. And people want to go out and see, will he get the base hits? Will he be eligible to go in the Hall of Fame? But they don't do that. Maybe one day. So Helton, who makes you think of all stars at first base, and Nolan Arenado coming up. Young third baseman struck out in the second inning. Ball one. Wouldn't you know, first career hit and home run in only his second game. He's hitting .247. He does have 7 home runs, 27 runs batted in. Nolan Arenado. Made his major league debut April the 28th, playing third base against Arizona. Big chopper, backhanded by Hairston. Oh, was that pretty? Whoops. A little problem out there at second base. The out was recorded. The ball was dropped while in the act of throwing by Punto. So it is a force play. Boy, that was a dandy by Hairston. Watch this. Thank you very much. But the Dodgers missed the double play. Perspiration enters into it as a factor. You start to perspire, your hands are wet, and it's like wet soap instead of a baseball. So 5-4 force. The only thing, if you get the number 8 hitter to end the inning, you have the pitcher coming up leading off in the next. There's a ground ball base hit up the middle. So Chacin, who walked in the second inning, promptly singles to center. For Chassin, he now has 8 hits. He has a couple of runs batted in. We mentioned earlier, he's pretty much, for a pitcher, a contact hitter. He's had 40 plate appearances, and he has only struck out 8 times. That's 20%. That's excellent. So mark him down. Pretty good hitter for a pitcher, Ulysses Chassin. That brings up Dexter Fowler, and as far as Nolasco is concerned, that's a headache. Fowler doubled into the right field corner, single to right, 2 for 2, and trying to pick up Arenado from second base. Strike, 0-1. Just to complete the thought, not to wear you out with it, but the idea they don't let you know what it takes to be a Hall of Famer. I'm talking about Helton. Tommy John won 288 games in 26 years. Don Drysdale, who is in the Hall of Fame, won 209. What made Tommy remarkable, he won 164 games after his surgery. He had 124 wins prior to the surgery. But anyway, that's just a thought. I sure hope one day Major League will do that, establish guidelines. 1-2 the count. There's Tommy. Look at that. And he's not in the Hall. 288 victories. Wow. One ball and 2 strikes. And Fowler finally makes an out. He's still 2 for 3, but that prevents the Rockies from a run. No run, 2 hits, 2 left, and they still lead 1-0. Prime Ticket is brought to you by Farmer Boys. Get an award-winning Farmer's Burger topped with farm-pressed veggies, cheese, bacon, and avocado. By Chase. Manage your account on the go whenever and wherever you want. The Chase mobile app, so you can. And by El Pollo Loco. Crazy you can taste. Bottom of the 4th inning. It is a beach day, certainly in Southern California. Meanwhile, the Rockies leading the Dodgers 1-0, bottom of the 4th. Andre Ethier, A.J. Ellis, Scott Van Slyke in that order. Andre Ethier came up with 2 on and 2 out in the first inning with good numbers against Chassin in the past and fouled out. One last thought, I promise, about the Hall of Fame. It'll be the first time since 1960. All of the inductees have long since left the world. Ground ball to short. Tulo makes it 1 away. Yeah, they're inducting those players who at the time there were no honors at the Hall of Fame during World War II, and all of those going in have long since passed. In fact, of all of the names involved, the sports writer that will go in is alive. Paul Hagen from Philadelphia. Tom Cheek, the voice of Toronto for so many years, he's long gone. He's going in as the sports announcer. Okay, here's AJ, struck out second inning. Still 1-0 in favor of the Rockies. And a strike, 0-1. AJ struck out in the second inning. Takes a look and pays the price, and the count's 0-2. Down and dirty, ball 1. 1-2. Coming into this game, if Chacin has an 0-2 count on you, 2 for 39 is what the opposition has done. And that's hit down the right field line, but it's slicing off foul back into the crowd. Chacin, among other things, has been very tough with runners in scoring position. Dodgers can attest to that. They had 2 on in the first inning, 2 on in the second inning, and failed to score. With 2 out, the opposition's been hitting less than 100 against him with runners in scoring position. In the dirt, 2-2. Chacin has had the bases loaded against him 14 times, but he's number 2 in the league in striking out a hitter with the bases loaded. But he's tough. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That'll run it all the way, 3-2. The middle innings this year have given Chacin a bit of a trouble. ERA 2.4 in the first 3. 4.6 in the middle 3, and Ellis drives one to center. Fowler at the wall, leaps up in the air and makes the catch. That's the second time he's made a leaping catch to take a possible home run away from the Dodgers. So Daddy Longlegs, he does it again. He's 6'4", but his timing is perfect. Up and made it. So Ellis losing a possible home run. 2 down here in the 4th, and Scott Van Slyke the batter. Great play by Dexter. We saw another wonderful play by Carlos Gonzalez. So they got a couple of dandies out there. And here's Van Slyke. He had a ground ball single into center field in the second inning. Van Slyke came into the game hitting .235. So Carl Crawford can't play. Matt Kemp can't play. Yasiel Puig can't play. Off speed, he was way out in front. 1-2 the count. Dodgers win yesterday 1-0 against Tyler Chatwood. Great effort by Zach Greinke. So now Chacin trying to balance the books. Well, that swung on and missed. Down go the Dodgers in order. So we have 4 innings in the books, and thanks to Dexter Fowler, it's still 1-0 Colorado.
Dodgers for 64 seasons. On Thursday, July 25th, the Dodgers will honor the legendary Hall of Fame broadcaster. The first 50,000 fans will receive a retro Vince Scully bobblehead. Compliments of Bank of America. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Fifth inning, another tough ball game. Rockies 1, Dodgers nothing. For Colorado, it'll be LeMahieu, Gonzalez, and Tulowitzki. Cotton candy may be, but a lot of water and sunblock good for the folks here today. In the fifth, Rockies scored on 2 base hits in the first inning, and that's it. Ramirez on the run, throws him out. 1 away. That'll bring up Carlos Gonzalez. We can also tell you Milwaukee leading Arizona 5-0, top of the fifth inning. One thing about the Brewers in Arizona, the Brewers have led early in every game. And yet, like they say on Broadway, how'd you come out? They've lost every game to Arizona. So we'll see if a 5-0 lead can stand up. Cargo struggling with the bat. Has walked the last 2 times. And ball 1. Which reminds you, we've had certain players who are very popular suddenly struggling and the fans boo them. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Carlos. And tried to bunt, and the ball hit him. And I think that's going to be a strike. In other words, he tried to bunt, and then he was hit by the pitch, and he's down. So it's definitely a strike. They haven't put it up yet. Oh, we were talking about booing favorites. I never thought it would ever happen, and it did. I remember one night in St. Louis, Stan Musial was struggling, if you can imagine Stan Musial struggling, but he was, and they booed him. And the next day, a group of fans in St. Louis took out a huge full-page ad in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch apologizing to Stan Musial for the fact that some thoughtless fans booed him. So even Homer Nods, even the greatest of the great, gets booed. And we'll see if Cargo is okay. So apparently they are ruling that Gonzalez was hit by a pitch, period, and he's allowed and given first base. Because as you know, if you swing and miss a pitch and the ball hits you, that's your fault, no problem. But no bunt, and instead hit by the pitch. So Gonzalez trying to walk it off, but he was running right into that pitch in the fake bunt. Well, he's going to give it his best shot, I believe, and stay in the game at first. And the batter, Troy Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki flied to left, hit into a double play, 0 for 2. I was talking about the fact he wears number 2 earlier, and I said in honor of Gary Jeter. I meant Derek Jeter. Why would you say Gary Jeter? I've given it a lot of thought in the last couple of innings. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe somewhere in baseball there was a Gary Jeter. Wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, Gonzalez at first. Remember, we told you he is such a great base stealer, but now he's got a bad wheel, as the old timers would say. Gonzalez has stolen 15 out of 16. Tulo flied to left, grounded into a double play. Tulowitzki has not done well at Dodger Stadium, and yet we all know he's a terrific player. All-Star 3 times in the last 4 years. Over the years, he has only hit .244 here. and that's in 50 games, and he has 8 home runs. One ball, no strikes, and pops it up on the left side. It's Hairston making the catch. 2 down in the 5th inning. Gonzalez stays at first, and the batter Michael Kadire, who has the honor of driving in the only run. He singled to score Fowler in the 1st inning. Kadire last time up hit a line drive right at Nick Punto. One nothing Rockies, top of the 5th. Dodgers will have Hairston, Nolasco, and Schumacher in the bottom half of the inning. Nolasco doing a good job, giving up some hits, leaving men on base. He's allowed 1 run, 5 hits. Fastball missed. Five hits and 3 walks. So Ricky's been pitching out of the stretch a lot. And Kadire, a very good hitter waiting. 1-0. And he hits one in the air to right center field and deep. Took out to the wall is Schumacher. It is gone. So Michael Kadire hits it out, and just like that, the Rockies take a 3-0 lead, and you can hear a sigh of relief in Arizona. So Kadire has knocked in all 3 runs, and the Rockies take a 3-0 lead. That last pitch by Nolasco off speed at 82, a hanger, and Kadire punished him, hitting it in the seats in right field. The crowd is hollering, I believe, throw it back, but whoever caught it in the pavilion holding on to it, and they're booing whomsoever. So Michael Kadire hits it out, 16 home runs. 54 runs batted in plus 1 to give him 55, and a strike at the plate to Helton. Nolasco's control is what's causing him the trouble. 3 walks, a hit batter, and there's a shot up the middle. So Todd Helton has 2 more hits. So the veteran who has plagued the Dodgers throughout his career, even in his last days against the Dodgers, continues to torment them. And Willen Rosario coming up. Todd Helton in his career has about 250 hits against the Dodgers. Yeah. So Rosario, trying to advance him, has struck out, flied to left, fouls it back. 0-1. Todd Helton in his career has 47 home runs against the Dodgers. In fact, you can see where he is on the list. Henry Aaron 77, then Barry Bonds, Willie Mays. One ball, one strike. With the All-Star game just around the corner, you will see managers use their bullpen even more than normal. 1-1. They figure pitch today, and then you have the days to rest. 4 days. Actually almost 5, considering the fact the day you play is a night game on the 19th. So they're not going to hesitate to bring in a reliever, not on this particular day in the baseball season. 1-2 the count to Willen Rosario. Chris Withrow gets up in the Dodger pen. A little roller. That's going to be tough. Picked up by Nolasco. The throw is too late. So Rosario gets a little nubber up along third for a base hit. And the batter now will be Nolan Arenado. So it started with a hit batter. And with 2 out, Kadire homered. Helton singled. Rosario singled. And considering Nolasco is due to bat second, and we told you on this particular day of the year, chances are Ricky will be coming out. Arenado struck out, hit into a force play. Michael Kadire cooling off with something cold. It has to taste good running around out there on the field, although all he did was jog around on his home run. Arenado 0 for 2. Young right-hand hitter. Nolasco might very well be pitching to his last hitter, and it's ball 1. One for 11 for Nolan in the series. 1 ball and no strikes. And that missed ball 2. So Nolasco not as sharp as he was in Arizona. He's already walked 3, hit a batter, and he's behind 2-0. And now let's see Rick Honeycutt trying to solve the question to get him to throw strikes. To repeat, when the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 5th, it'll be Jerry Hairston. Then no surprise if they bat for Nolasco and then Schumacher. The Dodgers, if you look in their dugout and see those hitters who are available, among others, you have Juan Uribe. Carl Crawford, I don't know if he could swing the bat. Mark Ellis has a sore leg from a foul ball, and you don't want to use Fedorovich because he's the backup catcher. Of course, you can always go to the pitchers, a guy like Zach Greinke or Clayton Kershaw. There's Greinke, who's been really swinging the bat, so he could be a pinch hitter. We'll see. 2 on, 2 out, 2-0, and Arenado obliges, swinging at what would have been ball 3. 2-1 to Nolan. He had a walk-off home run, the first of his young career in San Diego. 2 balls and 1 strike. Fouled away, 2-2. In the inning, Gonzalez hit by a pitch with 2 out. Kadire a home run. Then Helton and Rosario singled back-to-back. 3-0 in favor of the Rockies, trying to win 7 of 13 from the Dodgers. The only consolation for the Dodgers right now, Milwaukee leading Arizona 5-0. That's going to go foul upstairs. So deuces are very wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, 2 in. And the Rockies lead 3-0. Before a very big crowd. We might be close to 50,000 here. They had a big crowd, 52 yesterday. They had 50 the game before. And they had 52.7 the other night. Big chopper to third. Down to second base goes Hairston. That's the inning. Not before Michael Kadire hits 1 out. Add 2, and at the end of 4.5, 3-0 Colorado. will be off for the All-Star break, except for those who are involved. And then they'll hit the road and open up Friday in the nation's capital with the Washington Nationals. They will move on across the border to Canada to play Toronto for 3. And then they come home, a 4-game series with the Cincinnati Reds, followed by 2 with the Yankees. Cincinnati, of course, trying to make a move. They're 5 back of the Pirates. And, of course, the Yankees, and looking, they are 6 games back of the Red Sox. So the Reds and the Yankees coming in. Dodgers then will go right back out on the road, and they'll go to Chicago and St. Louis, and then come back and play Tampa Bay and the Mets. Yasiel Puig is going to come out on deck. He will bat for Ricky Nolasco. Meanwhile, Gary Hairston will start it off. Runs to bunt. 1 ball and no strikes. Nolasco made 82 pitches and was a little bit off in his control, and it's cost him 3 runs. 1 ball and no strikes. Good breaking ball. Chacin has been throwing strikes. He has walked 1. He walked Hanley Ramirez, and then he walked Nolasco, which shocked everybody in the 2nd inning. Ricky sitting back cooling off in the shade, and the 1-1 pitch swung on and missed. 1-2. Each pitcher walked the other today. The big home run by Mike Kadire after Gonzalez was hit by the pitch. 1-2. And down goes Jerry. 1 away. Now Yasiel Puig coming up, getting a warm welcome from the crowd. Yasiel Puig's problems started against Colorado the first couple of days of July when he ran into the right field wall. Made a spectacular catch, but hurt his hip. So he's been out of the lineup a while. Now as a pinch hitter with 1 out and the bases empty. And a strike. 0-1. One ball and 1 strike. For Yasiel, this is also his first appearance as a pinch hitter. Way out in front, 1-2. Puig was 1 for 4 against Chacin in Colorado. 1-2. And base hit into left field. So sore hip or no, Puig gets a base hit, much to the delight of the crowd on Yasiel Puig T-shirt day, and they're waving the T-shirts. So Puig with a base hit, and the batter now, Skip Schumacher. Yasiel waiting on the pitch and then bangs it into the hole to left field. So that'll bring up Schumacher, who had an infield single and struck out. So Puig as a pinch hitter, 1 for 1. Schumacher 1 for 2. Chacin taking a look over at Puig. And line drive base hit to left. And now the tying runs are aboard. Then you include the hitter, Nick Punto, coming up. So first and second, one out. Punto representing the potential tying run with Adrian Gonzalez and Hanley Ramirez down the line. Punto a long fly ball to right in the first inning and then struck out in the third. Meeting at the mound to make sure Chacin doesn't make a mistake here. Big Jim Wright out to counsel. Dodgers have certainly been held in check. They had a base hit in the first inning. They had a base hit in the second inning. And they've not had anything until Puig came off the bench and ignited a rally with a base hit. J.P. Howell gets up in the Dodger bullpen to join Chris Withrow. All right, 2 on, 1 out, 3-0 Colorado. Puig at second, Schumacher at first, and Punto. Infield back, and he shows bunt. I was going to say he might try to bunt. 1 ball and no strikes. Now, because of that fake bunt, they bring Arenado up about even with the bag at third. He was way back on that first pitch. One and oh. Full swing, drive to right, but that's going to be in the glove of Kadire, and the runners have to hold. So Punto has hit a couple of balls right on the button, but he's 0 for 3. As he lines out to right, and now Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez twice grounded out to the second baseman, DJ LeMahieu. Hanley Ramirez will be on deck. Crowd getting into it for the first time today. This is the first serious rally, 2 base hits, but now with 2 out. 3-0 Rockies. And a strike to Adrian, 0-1. One ball and 1 strike. Two on, 2 out, 3-0 Colorado. And that missed. Two on 1. And that's going to go foul out of play. 2-2. The crowd, of course, would love to have Gonzalez get on and let Hanley Ramirez have a shot. And it's a big crowd of around 50,000. I don't say it's 50, but it's going to be pretty close to it. Ramirez waiting. Gonzalez up there with a 2-ball, 2-strike count and 2 down. Fouled away. Velasco now up in the middle 70s with his pitch count. And Release taking a little walk behind the mound. 3-0 Colorado. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out and 2 on for Gonzalez. And that's going to be hit into right field, base hit. Here comes Puig. They're going to throw to the plate. He will score. And the other runners hold on. So Yasiel Puig beats a strong throw from Kadire. And as usual, he's the spark plug. Puig comes up as a pinch hitter, gets a base hit, and the Dodgers eventually score. It is now 3-1 Colorado. Take another look. Base hit to Dyer with a strong arm, and I mean he was zeroed in, and the throw late. The Dodgers did not take advantage of the high throw. I think perhaps Schumacher might have gone to third because the throw could not be cut off. So now here's Hanley Ramirez. So the tying runs aboard. Hanley checks in. Walked and fouled out. 0-1. Hanley, it appears, and maybe I'm putting something into it that's not there, but it seems like he's swinging harder than ever after the first pitch. The very first pitch in the first inning was right at his head. 0-1 the count. 2 out, 2 on. Rockies lead by 2. Remember how hard he swung? His helmet flew off. Fastball hit too low. Gobbles it for the force play. So the Dodgers, inspired by Puig as usual, 3 hits, 1 run, and at the end of 5, 3-1 Colorado. Ramon Martinez pitched a no-hitter against the Florida Marlins. Dodgers won that ball game 7-0. That was the same year that Martinez had a game where he struck out 18. A pretty special year for him. By the way, that no-hitter was the 9th no-hitter in Dodger history in L.A. They have 10 no-hitters here in Los Angeles. They had 10 no-hitters in Ebbets Field, so that balances the books to give them 20 in franchise history. Let's take a look at this one. Puig is back in the ball game. You can hear the crowd reacting to it.
Pitching for the Dodgers, number 56, J.P. Howell.
So we go to the 6th inning with the Rockies now leading 3-1. Puig off the bench to get the pinch hit and score the run. Skip Schumacher now moves in to take over at second base. And we move to the 6th. And the left-hander J.P. Howell is out there following Ricky Nolasco. Ulysses Chacin has walked and singled. So Howell trying to put a stop to that. The visiting pitcher having too much success with the bat. JP in his 39th game. Drops that breaking ball in there nicely. So he's out in front 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. If you are keeping score, he can put the pitcher in punto spot. So he'll be out of the way for a while. Chassin, by the way, made 19 pitches in the 5th inning. So his pitch count, he's up to 77. And he promptly hits one, would you believe, down the line. Puig up with it, and Chassin stumbles rounding first, and he'll hold on. So Ulysses Chassin wearing out the Dodgers with a walk and 2 singles. He was not thinking about going to second and stumbled while he was looking down the line. He got a big, high, slow curveball. It's like hitting an apple hanging off a tree. So he did him a big favor with that big bender. Puig over, running all right considering he's had that sore hip. Chassin was not going to go, and the throw not in the neighborhood anyway. So Howell gives up a hit. And now let's see. When Chassin rounded first, we told you he stumbled. He might have hurt an ankle. We'll see. Here's the turn. Right there. That took any thought of going for 2 out of his mind. They want to make sure he's okay, and the answer is yes, he is. So Howell is greeted, and for Chassin, a first career 2 hits, and don't forget the walk. What is it we used to say in the Sandlots? A walk's as good as a hit. Well, he's having a big day. Here's Fowler, 2 for 3, switch hitter, turning around to bat right-handed. That's fouled away. Dexter hitting .246 left-handed, .356 right-handed. A difference of 110 points, although 10 home runs, 9 of them hit left-handed. One problem as a switch hitter, when you go right-handed, you give up 3 steps to first base. 0-1. And he runs to bunt and misses. 0-2. Down in the Dodger bullpen, we told you no one will be spared. We've seen games on the Sunday before the All-Star where they get into the pen and they bring in starters as well. So everything goes today, and Ronald Belisario throwing behind Howell. No balls and 2 strikes to Dexter Fowler. Ground ball hard. Hairston to Schumacher, and to first, not in time. So even though he's batting right-handed and gives up those 3 steps, Fowler is still very, very tough. And here's an interesting thing. I mean, I'm just pointing out the fact, batting right-handed, he gives up 3 steps. He's hit into 3 double plays. All 3 double plays hit right-handed? No, left-handed. So the Dodgers miss a double play. They missed one in the 4th inning. Now, of course, they do the Rockies a favor. They get the pitcher off the baselines and they put a rabbit out there to run. And here's LeMahieu, 0 for 3. Fowler has stolen 13 out of 15. Since all of his power is on the left side, I guess he hits the ball harder. Howell off the rubber. In other words, Fowler hits the ball harder to the infielders. Left-handed, that's why they can double him. JP will look over. And ball 1. Milwaukee 5, Arizona 1 at the end of 6. Miguel Montero homered in the 5th to get Arizona on the board. But they also left 2 in scoring position in the 6th inning. So 5-1 Milwaukee. They go to the 7th. LeMahieu 0 for 3. Fowler always a threat to run. And there he goes on a pitch out. So he changes his mind, goes back to first, and he's back there. So Dexter Fowler started, went back. The throw was dropped by Gonzalez, but he was in there safely anyway. I think Mattingly was thinking, tag him again. Maybe he came off the bag. And the first base umpire, Jeff Nelson, said no. Now Mattingly's coming out, so let's see. It was a pitch out, so there was no thought of interference with the hitter. And then Fowler jammed on the brakes, got back to first, and we'll see the result of this confab. The crew chief is Jim Joyce, one of the most respected umpires in the game, and they are calling Fowler out. Well, maybe the tag was made before the ball spilled out, but Dexter's standing on the bag. The crowd reacted as if the umpires were calling him out. Dexter's still there. I wonder what that gesture by the umpire meant, which drew the roar of the crowd. There's the play, and you can see calling safe because the ball is in the ground. There's the tag maybe, and then safe when the ball comes out. That looks like the tag, doesn't it? Where's the ball? Right there. So then the umpire gestured, and you heard the crowd roar. They thought the umpire was calling him out. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count. That was a pitch out. So JP on the horns of the dilemma with a runner at first who really runs well and a big league hitter at the plate. Where do you concentrate and how do you do both? 1 ball and 1 strike. And ball 2. LeMahieu checking with Stu Cole coaching at third. 2-1. They might put a hit and run play on here. Let's see. Fowler, not a particularly big lead. He's not gone on ball 3, and that wasn't close. 3-1. Another group of relievers struggling with base runners would be the Washington Nationals. They've allowed 24 stolen bases in 24 attempts. And that's the first stop for the Dodgers in Washington after the break. 3-1 the count. Watch Fowler. So will Howell. Dexter double, single, struck out, hit into a force play when the Dodgers missed the double play. Three and 1. Howell delivers. There goes the runner on a strike. Again, he's coming back, and Ramirez fell down. Now to Gonzalez, who fakes. Now it's Schumacher going back and forth, and eventually we'll see if the Dodgers can tag him out, and they do. So Dexter Fowler for the second time started to go, jam on the brakes. Got away with it the first time, and they nail in the second time. And just to complicate matters in the course of the rundown, Hanley Ramirez fell down and hurt himself, but he rolled over, got up, and they finally get the tag. But now Ramirez is limping noticeably, and I'm not sure if he can stay in the game or not. The tag finally made by Ellis. Here's Hanley reaching for a bad throw, stumbles, falls. The left foot seemed to turn over, but he came up hurting and staying in the fight, and he's going to stay in the game. I'm not sure if you keep score, but it went from Ellis to Ramirez, over to Adrian Gonzalez, then to Schumacher, then to the pitcher Howell, then to Ramirez, and finally to the catcher. Is that a textbook rundown? Absolutely not. Two out. Trying to put LeMahieu away, but they don't. He's ball four. So Howell gives up a base hit and a walk here in the sixth inning. And that brings up the left-hand hitter, Gonzalez. Carlos has walked twice, hit by a pitch when he ran up to bunt. Three to one in favor of Colorado. We're in the top of the sixth inning. Dodgers will have Ethier, Ellis, and Van Slyke in the bottom half. That's a strike. LeMahieu has stolen 11 out of 12. No, make it 11 out of 14. Not bad. So you erase Fowler, but you get another rabbit in LeMahieu with 2 out. 0-1 the count. Chased and missed. 0-2. Remember last time up, Carlos ran up to bunt and he was hit on the right leg. The umpire behind the plate, Corey Blazer, indicated that it was a strike and that Cargo had just been hit by the pitch after committing. However, then they gave Gonzalez the base. 0-2 the count. It was interesting too, remember, involving the first pickoff play with Fowler. The 4 umpires got together, walked away. One of them indicated out. The crowd roared. Only Fowler stayed at first. One of those days. 0-2. And there he goes. And the ball lifted into right field, but playable. Puig is at the other end of it on the track. And that's that. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. At the end of 5.5, 3-1, Colorado. the bottom of the 6th inning. San Diego putting it to the Giants after that no-hitter last night. They piled up an 8-1 lead, and they've had home runs by Denorfia, Hundley, and Venable. Arizona, we have that score wrong. It is Milwaukee 5, Arizona 1. So forget about that. Ian Kennedy gave up 5 earned runs. Just a little error. Look at that, how easy we can correct. Sure. Milwaukee leading 5-1, 7th inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Ethier, Ellis, and Van Slyke. J.P. Howell made 16 pitches. And ball 1. Andre Ethier fouled out, grounded out, 0-for-2. Chacin dodged a few bullets in the 4th, and then Puig led the Dodgers to a run in the 5th. Check swing. They're going to look. No swing, says Jim Joyce. 2-0. So Milwaukee leading Arizona, and the Dodgers with a chance to cut the lead to a game and a half. 2-0. 3-0. Last year at the All-Star break, the Dodgers were in first place by a half a game. Chacin, whose pitch count now is ready for number 80. And he's wide with that one. Joe Chacin now has walked 3. Gave up 3 hits and a run in the 5th inning. And just as Mattingly will use anybody and everybody today since the All-Star break is coming up, Walt Weiss can do the same thing. The batter, A.J. Ellis, who struck out, but there's no action yet in the Colorado bullpen. One reason the Colorado bullpen is 12th in relief victories. They have a pretty high ERA, almost 4. And they are very low in save opportunities. That's why Weiss hesitates to go down there. And that's ball 1. AJ struck out in the 2nd inning and then hit one to dead center. And Daddy Longlegs, Dexter Fowler, went up the wall and made the catch. 1 ball and no strikes. Now they start to move around. First man up is Edmer Escalota, a right-hander. Breaking ball, strike, and the count 1-1. AJ didn't say anything, but his body language told you he definitely disagreed with the call on that one. AJ with 4 home runs, 27 runs batted in. 1-1. When Hanley Ramirez came off the field, he went right to the dressing room. That's ball 2. He twisted that foot and ankle and stayed in. 2-1 to AJ with Ethier at first, nobody out. Rockies lead 3-1. 2-1 to AJ. Andre Ethier has stolen 3 and been caught 3. Usually when he's going, it's part of a hit and run play. 2-1 to AJ, so they're thinking about that right now. Ethier's not going, and foul ball. 2-2. Dodgers won with 1 run yesterday. They were shut out the day before 3-0. So the runs are not coming that easily with Yasiel Puig coming off the bench. First time this year as a pinch hitter. He got a base hit, and that seemed to activate everybody. Zach Greinke yesterday continued his marvelous pitching. 2-2 the count. In the dirt. Nice block and save by Rosario. So Chassin goes all the way. Chassin, by the way, can be a little on the wild side. He has 4 wild pitches. Josh Outman has gotten up. He's a left-hander to go with Edmer Escalosa. 3-2. Big pitch. Waiting on deck, Scott Van Slyke. Ethier's not going, and the ball is whacked into left field. Going back for it is Gonzalez, right at the wall to make the catch. So that's 2 balls that A.J. Ellis has really hit hard and far, but he is still 0 for 3.
Scott Van Slyke.
And Scott Van Slyke coming up. Take another look. Had some pretty good carry to it, but Carlos right there to glove it. Gonzalez, way back in the 2nd inning, caught up to a ball that was hit by Jerry Hairston, better even than the ball hit by A.J. And somehow Cargo ran it down. Ground ball up the middle. So the Dodgers now have the tying runs aboard. Van Slyke is 2 for 3. 2 singles to center. And the batter will be Jerry Hairston. Hairston robbed of an extra base hit on that great running catch by Gonzalez in the 2nd inning. And then came up in the 5th and struck out. Meanwhile, in the Dodger dugout, having taken some treatment, Hanley Ramirez back in the dugout on the bench. Meeting at the mound, Chassin now might be hanging on. He's made 88 pitches. Walt Weiss, the skipper, is out there. You may remember Walt Weiss. He was a very good infielder, and among other things, Walt was on the 1988 Oakland A's team. Yes, the same team that bowed to Kirk Gibson and company. Good player, scrappy player. They call them blue-collar players. He was certainly one of them. So here's Hairston with Puig on deck. Ethier at second, Van Slyke at first, 1 out. Puig waits and does what he usually does. Draw a little cross in the ground. All right, 2 on, 1 out. Here's Hairston. And a high fly ball down the left field line, hooking in the corner and going foul. Well, Jerry jumped all over that, just turned too much. Hairston has 1 home run. So Cargo goes back, 0-1 the count. Ethier back to second, Van Slyke to first, 1 away. Outfield fanned out straight away on Jerry. I mean, they are exactly straight away. 0-1. And that's a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. He had a note about Jerry Hairston, 1,400 games in his career. He'll see his brother Scott, who's been traded from the Cubs to Washington. So the brothers will have a reunion on the 19th. 0-2. There's the family, Jerry and Sr., and then Scott, Sam, and John going all the way back. No balls, 2 strikes. Check swing, strike 3. So Hairston pulls 1 foul, and then down he goes. And here comes Puig, and the crowd comes alive immediately. Yasiel, as a pinch hitter for the first time, came off the bench and singled and scored the only Dodger run. Now he's up there trying to do some damage with the tying runs aboard and 2 out. Puig hitting .396, 8 home runs, 19 RBIs. Checked his swing. Swing, says Jeff Nelson. 0-1. We'll repeat it. Remember, he was competing in the fan vote, and Freddie Freeman won the vote. However, Freeman jammed his left thumb and can't play. They've announced that Brian McCann, the left-hand hitting catcher and a fellow Brave, will take over for Freeman in the All-Star game. 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. (3-1) Rockies, 6th inning, 2 on, 2 out. And that's popped in the air into shallow left center. A trio out there. It will be the middleman, the center fielder, Dexter Fowler. The Puig flies out. The Dodgers lead 2. And at the end, it's 6. It remains Rockies 3, Dodgers 1. On Prime Ticket is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink Possible. By your Southern California Toyota dealers. And by CarMax. Start the search for your next car at CarMax. We move to the 7th inning with the Rockies stubbornly holding on to a 3-1 lead. The big difference, a 2-run home run in the 5th inning by Michael Kadire. For the Dodgers, they make 2 changes. Juan Uribe takes over at third base, and Ronald Belisario takes over on the mound. Belisario coming into the game. This would be his 46th game. That would be most on the staff. He's 3-5, and his important numbers: 14 walks, 34 strikeouts. One problem, always a big problem: more hits than innings pitched. So Belisario will be pitching to Tulowitzki, Kadire, and Helton. Tulo 0 for 3, and ball 1. Fly to left, hit into a double play, popped up. And ball 2. when the Dodgers come up in the 7th inning. It'll be the top of the order. That means Schumacher, followed by Uribe, and then Adrian Gonzalez. If you're keeping score, put Belisario in Hairston's spot. Tulo waiting on a 3-0 count. And Belisario wasn't even close. So 4 pitches to walk Tulo. Dodgers have been very generous. 5 walks and a hit batter. Michael Kadire coming up, singled in a run in the 1st inning, and then in the 5th with a man aboard, connected. And for Kadire, clearing the wall. And for Mike, his 16th home run. He has 55 RBIs, driving in all 3 today. So Kadire only 2 for 10. Those 2 hits have been critical today. High strike, 0-1. The one time they got Kadire in the 3rd inning, he had a line drive at Nick Punto, who was playing second base at the time. 0-1. Little chop foul. Uribe there. 0-2. So Tulowitzki at first. Tulowitzki has not been involved in a stolen base. No balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball down to second. Backhanded, fumbled. They get it over for 1, and they lose the double play again. You know, one thing you forget, with all the good things that has happened to the Dodgers, they are basically a weak or poor, whatever word you want to use. They are not a good defensive team. And here's a ground ball. Schumacher, of course, was playing right field. Now he's playing second base. Had a lot of trouble. They finally get a force play. That's probably the 3rd time today the Dodgers have had a chance at a double play, and they failed to come up with it. So there's no error. But if you look at the Dodger errors, you say, wow, they made a lot of them, which is certainly true, 67. But poor defensive teams also fail to make the play. That's going down the left field line. Foul. 0-1. Helton, carrying his bat, was pretty sure it was going to go foul. So that's what happens. Clubs that are struggling defensively just don't make the play. So Kadire at first, 1 out, 7th inning, 3-1 Rockies. Helton fouled out twice, single to center. Kadire has stolen 6 out of 7. Remember, we told you this is a running ball club. They have 70 stolen bases. And Weiss gives that green light to go a lot. 0-1. 1-1 to Todd Helton. Helton with 2 hits today. (2,471 hits in his career. Then add all the walks that he's gotten. I mean, the Dodgers have walked him over 145 times in the games he's played against them. And Belisario anything but sharp now. 2-1 to count. He's being backed up by Paco Rodriguez. Of course, after Helton, you have right-hand batters until you get back to Fowler, and Fowler's a switch hitter anyway. And that's a strike. 2-2 to Todd Helton. We're in the top of the 7th. Rockies have led all the way, 1-0, 3-0, and 3-1. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that smoke right at Schumacher over to first, double play. So the Dodgers get a DP that they missed on that line drive that goes 4-3. And at the end is 6.5, 3-1 Colorado. Ricky Nolasco, who was pretty much on the wild side. Ricky walked 3, hit a batter. Chacin walked 3 as well. Although Nolasco did not make as many pitches as Ulisse. Ulisse had the 3 runs, and the big difference, really one swing of the bat, and that was by Michael Cuddyer. So now Chacin has given way to left-hander Rex Brothers, and it'll become a battle of the bullpen. Belisario, then working the 7th inning, made 12 pitches. And now Rex Brothers, hard throwing left-hander, out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, went to Lipscomb University. He's an even 6', 210, 25 years old. He'll be 26 in the middle of December. He had all kinds of strikeout records in college, and he can still bring it in the big leagues. A drag bunt attempt, foul back. 0-1 to Skip Schumacher, who is an infield single, struck out single to left in the 5th inning. The Skip 2 for 3, started the game in right field and is finishing up at second base. One ball and 1 strike. Rex Brothers, 19 walks, 40 strikeouts, so a little bit better than 2-1. Fastball strike, 1-2. Typical of Brothers last year, 67 innings, 63 strikeouts. Fouled away. Brothers also, and we talked, it's always a little shaky. You look up hits and innings pitched. Belisario, for instance, was a little shaky in that department, but not Brothers. He's worked 39 innings and allowed 26 hits. And that's going to be down the left field line, slicing. Cargo in pursuit. Can't make it. 1-2. Schumacher coming back to start it again. Remember, Uribe hit second, and then Gonzalez here in the 7th inning. Chacin made 94 pitches through his 6 innings. 1-2. Cracked bat, little ground ball. LeMahieu playing deep comes back to get it, and we have one away. Remember the Twitter poll question? Who will win the All-Star game? Who do you think? Well, overwhelmingly, the folks seem to think the National League will beat the American League in the All-Star game at Citi Field in New York, the home of the Mets. Clayton Kershaw, of course, will represent the Dodgers. Where he pitches, when he pitches, you don't know. Yasiel Puig in the running, didn't make it, and apparently will not be the substitute for Freddie Freeman. They've announced it'll be the catcher, Brian McCann. Ball 1. On the field, you have Troy Tulowitzki and Carlos Gonzalez in left field. They're the stars who will represent the Rockies. Stars they are. 1 ball and no strikes. One to Uribe. Juan, after 2 very slow years with the Dodgers, finishing up the 3rd year of his contract, hitting .271, 5 home runs, 28 runs batted in. Thinking about Uribe in the final year of his contract, how he has put up so much better numbers than the previous 2 years. Tommy Lasorda tells the story of one year Peter O'Malley said to him, "What can I do for you?" And Tommy said, "I'll tell you what you can do for me. Give me 25 players playing out their last year of their contract." We get the point. Paid attendance, 51,402. In other words, over 200,000 people for the 4 games. And that's called strike. Uribe can't believe it, but down he goes. Dodgers now announcing their 11th sellout. So total, the 4-game series drew 206,930. That's the largest collective crowd, 5th largest in Dodger Stadium history. And for good reason. The club's been fun to watch. They've been playing very well. That's it. Liquid and sunblock. Gonzalez. And a strike. Grounded out twice, single to right. That was the 3-hit inning in the 5th when the Dodgers wound up with their only run. On deck, Hanley Ramirez. Hanley Ramirez on deck is 2 for 2 with a home run against Rex Brothers coming into this series. So he represents a potential tying run, but Adrian has to get aboard. Fouled away. 0-2. Rocky scored on a foul or double and a single by Kadire. And then in the 5th inning, Gonzalez running up to bunt, hit by the pitch, and Kadire homered. And that's basically Colorado offense. Dodgers have not been able to do anything. Did come up with 3 hits in the 5th inning for 1 run. The key out in that game, Punto, with 2 on, hit one hard, but right at Kadire in right field. 1-2 the count to Adrian Gonzalez. Another foul ball. Adrian battling like trying to keep a flame alive in a wind. Brothers throwing strikes. Adrian fouling them off. 1-2. And a high foul coming back late as Rosario finally picked it off and one-hands it. So he was late leaving the plate, but he still caught up to it. Dodgers go 1-2-3, and we are heading for the 8th. 3-1 Colorado. Third base, made a couple of dandy plays. First, this one had to short hop on the dead run and throw to first and got his man. And the second time, backhand and short hop to get an out. So Jerry has done very well playing the hot corner, as they call it, and he's had a couple of hot shots hit at him, and he's made the play. Now Juan Uribe is in there, and with all of that, we go to the 8th, and it's still 3-1 Colorado. Last we heard on Arizona, they were losing. It was 5-1 in the 7th inning. Ian Kennedy, having a rocky year, gave up another 5. Well, we'll wait until we get a little later. They're in the 9th inning now. Milwaukee 5, Arizona 1. So the Dodgers with an opportunity, but so far they've been held to just 1 run in 6 hits. Here's Rosario. And the catcher takes a base hit in the 5th inning, 1 for 3 at the plate. Made a nice play on that foul ball by Adrian Gonzalez. Oh, 2. Ronald Belisario. It's been Nolasco who started for 5, then J.P. Howell in the 6th. Belisario pitched the 7th. Got a line drive double play off the bat of Todd Helton. One and 2 the count. Rosario, Arenado, and Brothers. way off the plate. 2-2. Two balls and two strikes. Got him. So Rosario strikes out a second time. He goes 1 for 4. Belisario picks up a strikeout. And the batter, Nolan Arenado. MLB.com at bat. Remember, the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. It's available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. It delivers Dodger baseball with all the trimmings. So text at bat to 31826 or visit Dodgers.com. One out in the 8th, 3-1 Rockies. Arenado 0 for 3. Foul ball. 0-1. Nolan is from Lake Forest, California. Went to El Toro High School. This year in the spring, he was named #1 prospect in the Rockies organization. And grounds one to Hanley, who apparently is okay. 2 down in the 8th. Charlie Blackmon, left-hand hitting right fielder, is now going to come up and bat for Brothers. Charlie Blackmon. Blackmon started the other night against Clayton Kershaw. He had a 12-pitch at bat in his first appearance against Kershaw. 12 pitches. He fouled off 8 and then doubled the left field. It was a very impressive at bat. Later in the game, he had another base hit and a stolen base. So Charlie Blackmon checking in. And ball 1. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 8th inning, Hanley Ramirez, Andre Ethier, A.J. Ellis. Ground ball up the middle. Shoe picks, throws offline. Oh, that'll be a base hit. Great effort by Skip Schumacher, but not much of a chance. Blackmon also runs very well. So Charlie is aboard with a base hit. Down in the pen, Matt Belisle begins to throw for Colorado. So the bottom, the number 9 slot for the Rockies, Chacin, the pitcher, walked. He had 2 hits, and now Blackmon bats and he gets a base hit. So number 9 has a walk and 3 singles. Well, we told you there can be quick hooks today because of the All-Star break, and the Dodgers are not going to waste any time. They want to turn Fowler around and make him bat right-handed. So they'll bring in Paco Rodriguez. He'll be the 4th Dodger pitcher. Belisario comes out. We'll be back. gather in the most exciting city in the world for the biggest event of the summer. It's the 2013 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, live from New York, Tuesday only on Fox. Paco Rodriguez is brought in to turn Fowler around. Dexter Fowler doubled and singled and struck out, and then in the 6th inning they turned him around. He hit into a force play when the Dodgers missed the double play twice. He tried to steal. Each time he stopped and went back to the bag. The first time Adrian almost got him, and the second time the Dodgers got him in a long rundown. So here is Paco ready to pitch to Dexter Fowler. Charlie Blackmon over at first base. Everybody runs on this club. Blackmon is 2 for 2. And a strike, 0-1. Belisario in his work made 21 pitches. Of course, this is the one day in the baseball year when pitch count really doesn't mean anything, because they're not going to play again for almost 5 days. Oh, and 1. Dodgers will have Ramirez, Ethier, and A.J. Ellis in the bottom of the 8th. No matter what happens in the 8th, if there is a bottom of the 9th, Yasiel Puig will be batting. He's hitting 9th in the lineup. He came into the game as a pinch hitter in the 5th inning, singled, and scored the only Dodger run. 0-1. There goes Blackmon. Off-speed pitch, a hurried throw, too late. Again, when you go on an off-speed pitch, that makes it even tougher for the catcher. So no surprise, Blackmon now steals his 3rd. 71 stolen bases for Colorado. So 1-1, the count to Fowler with LeMahieu on deck. Late break and a strike. Boy, that's a great pitch. Sitting up here looking down, it looked outside all the way. In the last second, it jumped into the corner. That's why they always talk about the importance of pitching. First, location. Second, movement. Then third, velocity. And that was a great example. 1-2. Two and two. Fowler waiting, 2-2. Check swing. Did he? Nope. 3-2. Down in the Dodger bullpen, the young hard-throwing Jose Dominguez begins to warm up. Off speed, foul back. That was only 80 miles an hour. Paco, of course, can throw harder than that. Fowler was on the DL for a while. He had a bone bruise in his right hand. Healthy once again, trying to pick up Charlie Blackmon at second. Ground ball wide of third. Up with it there, Uribe, and makes the play. So no runs, 1 hit, a man left, and we're heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. 3-1 Colorado. Michael Kadires had the big day. RBI single and a 2-run home run to knock all of them in for the Rockies. Ricky Nolasco a little bit sharp at moments, other times fighting his control. Gave up 3 runs in 5 innings, and the Dodgers shut down. They've scored 2 runs in the last 3 games. So a club that was averaging about 11 hits a game have been shut down to 6, and they've been very quiet except for the 6th inning when they came up, actually the 5th inning when they came up with 3 hits for a run. So now they'll see another new pitcher. First they saw Chacin, then Rex Brothers, and now Matt Belisle. Matt Belisle out of Austin, Texas, another big boy. He's 6'4", 230, 33 years old, originally signed in the 2nd round out of high school by the Atlanta Braves. And ball 1 to Hanley Ramirez. Final score, Milwaukee defeated Arizona 5-1. So the Brewers salvaged 1 of the 4. They got 3 runs in the first and held on. Where in all of the other games in that series, Milwaukee jumped out in front and then let the lead get away. Of course, that's one reason why Milwaukee began the day 19.5 games behind Pittsburgh. 1-1 the count. A little foul off to the right, out of play. Ramirez walked, fouled out, hit into a force play. I'm not sure if he exactly turned his ankle, but something happened when he fell down in that rundown. Went back to the dressing room when the inning ended, and then came right back out to continue. So 1-2 to Hammer. And that's lifted off first base. Helton might have a play and does. So Ramirez fouls out, goes 0 for 3. So it sure happens. You get a ball club just tearing the cover off the ball. 10 or more hits, 9 of 11 games, and they have been chilled of late by the Rockies. Andre Ethier 0 for 2 with a walk. Andre fouled out, grounded out, and walked. A couple of balls that were caught that might have changed the game. One of them by Carlos Gonzalez. The ball was hit over his head by Hairston, man aboard in the 2nd inning. And Cargo somehow or other ran, reached up, backhanded it, and made a tremendous catch. And then later on, A.J. Ellis hit a ball in the 4th inning, and Dexter Fowler went up the center field wall to make the catch. So those 2 plays could have made a big difference, and they have in favor of Colorado. 1-1 the count to Ethier. On deck, A.J. Ellis. One, now 2. 2-1. Two and 1. Fastball strike. Ethier's annoyed. Can tell that easily. Slapped at his bat. Watch when he takes it, what he does with the bat. Pow. 2-2. One out, bottom of the 8th, 3-1 in favor of Colorado. They beat the Dodgers 3-0. Dodgers came back to win 1-0. First game of the series, the Dodgers scored 6-1. Michael Kadires knocked in all 3. Well, he's been the Colorado hero. And ball 3 to Andre Ethier. AJ waiting on deck. 3-2 the count. And that's lifted to left center. Fowler and Cargo, and it's Cargo backhanding it. So 2 out, and the batter A.J. Ellis. So if Ellis makes out to end the inning, the Dodgers then in the 9th inning would have Van Slyke. Then they would have a pinch hitter for Paco Rodriguez, and then Yasiel Puig. So don't go away. Might be a little magic left. Uribe right behind him. Ellis has struck out, flied very deep to center, flied very deep to left, and is 0 for 3 with all of it. Meanwhile, Carl Crawford banged up, but getting a helmet, and might be the pinch hitter in the 9th inning for Paco Rodriguez or Kenley Jansen, whoever's pitching. Don Mattingly said before the game about Carl Crawford, I think I'd use him in a double switch, but I'd prefer not to use him at all. So we'll see. Fouled off. Still 0-2. He also preferred not to use Puig, but he used him. And Yasiel singled in the 5th inning and scored the only Dodger run. And he'll be coming up in the 9th. 0-2 to Ellis. 2 out in the 8th. 3-1 Colorado. 1-2. Matt Belisle. Big fella trying to close it up. Ground ball of the hole. Going wide is Arenado to get him. Okay, the Dodgers go 1-2-3 yet again. That's 8 in a row retired. So they'll have Van Slyke, a pinch hitter, and Puig in the 9th, but it's 3-1 Colorado. Change the outfield. Scott Van Slyke, who started the game in left field, went to right and has now moved to right field. Carl Crawford and Yasiel Puig switch, with Puig now in center and Crawford in left field. So the Dodger outfield, Crawford, Puig, and Van Slyke. And the new pitcher, Kenley Jansen, the 5th Dodger pitcher, after Paco Rodriguez came in, made 7 pitches. Belisario had made 21. In the 9th inning, Kenley will face LeMahieu, Gonzalez, and Tulowitzki. And if anybody gets on, the villain in the piece, as far as the Dodgers are concerned, Michael Kadire. And to repeat, the Dodgers in the bottom of the 9th inning will start with Van Slyke, end up with Puig. Kenley Jansen comes to the mound There have been 7 other pitchers on the mound before he got there, and apparently he's going to ask for a little help. Sometimes the little trench in front of the rubber gets awfully deep. Sometimes the follow-through area, but you can see there's the need to evens it up. They'll either have it all the way one way, it was halfway, and they're just going to tidy it up, clean it up with a little air, and then fill it in. Pound it down. Of course, what you would like to have is a bit of a trough so that you can brace in Kenley's spot his right foot. So you hit the side of the rubber and then push off. Awfully important for a pitcher to have it just right, and they're certainly entitled to that. Kenley taking a feel, he's on the rubber, and then can push off, and apparently he's satisfied, so okay. DJ LeMahieu has struck out, lost a hit on a nice play by Jerry Hairston, grounded to short and walked. So LeMahieu is 0 for 3 with a walk. In the Rockies bullpen, having used Chacin and Brothers and Belisle, they have Rafael Betancourt in the Rockies pen. All right, 9th inning, 3-1 Colorado. The only consolation for the Dodgers, Arizona lost. The frustration for the Dodgers, Arizona lost. Strike. 0-1. Kenley Jansen, like every ball player, I'm sure, looking forward to a break in the action. Last game was Wednesday against Arizona. In his last 21 appearances, 18 of the 21, he's been scoreless. Since May the 25th, give you an idea, his earned run average since that date, 1.1. 0-2 to LeMahieu. Ball 1. The opposition overall hitting .216 against him, and right-handers are batting .196. And his strikeout to walk ratio is remarkable. 8 walks, 63 strikeouts. Make it 64. So 1 out, and the batter, Carlos Gonzalez. Gonzalez has been quiet with the bat, but he's been very handy with the glove. He walked twice. Then in the 5th inning, ran up as if to bunt and was hit by the pitch. So that with 2 out, that brought up Kadire. And Kadire hit the home run. That's the difference in the game. 3 for 12 in the series. The all-star left fielder, Carlos Gonzalez. On 1. We mentioned it earlier. This will be the last time we'll see him for a while. They were asking him about the toys that he had when he was a kid, and he said, I didn't have any toys. And they said, really? Why not? He said, because I would always hit them with something. Well, he's found a way to hit the ball and promptly grounds a single. So when all is said and done, he winds up going 0 for 2 today with 2 walks, a hit batter. So it's the 4th time he's been on. Skip Schumacher diving and trying, but couldn't catch up. So Gonzalez at first. Gonzalez has stolen 15 out of 16. So when you play Colorado and they get a man on, there's always the threat of a stolen base. Troy Tulowitzki flied to left, hit into a double play, popped up and walked. 0 for 3. 0 for 9 in the series. Remember, it came off the DL. He had broken a rib. Broken the rib diving at a ball. Troy big and well put together at 6'3". Kenley Jansen trying to shut down the Rockies in the ninth. And a strike. 0-1. Dodgers will have Van Slyke, Crawford, and Puig in the bottom of the ninth inning. Wouldn't you know, Puig would be hitting third. On 1. And another strike. 0-2. Tulowitzki was reactivated last night after being on the DL. He missed 25 games with that broken rib. 0-2. Crowd of 51,402. Very quiet. Got him. So Tulo strikes out. 2 strikeouts for Kenley Jansen. And now the batter is Michael Kadire.
Number 3.
Tough series for Tulowitzki. Tulo goes 0 for 4 today, 0 for 10 in the series. But again, he is so rusty, having been on the DL for 25 games. So here's Kadire, singled in a run, lined out, homered with a man aboard, hit into a force play. 2 for 4, having knocked in all 3 Rockies runs. There goes the runner. The pitch is high. The throw short hop and not in time. Schumacher thought he had him. So Gonzalez steals second base. Gonzalez now has stolen 16 out of 17. Shu was sure he had him. Good pitch for Ellis to handle. Made a good throw. But then again, it's Carlos Gonzalez. 16 out of 17. When you look at Carlos Gonzalez, you watched him make the defensive plays in the series. You know he's hitting over 300. 22 doubles, 6 triples, 25 home runs, and he's stolen 16 out of 17. He's done everything but sing the anthem. Fouled away. 1-1.
Come on now.
Kadire broke out of his slump in the series. He was 0 for 7 when he singled in the run in the first inning, and then hit the 2-run home run in the 5th. 1 ball, 1 strike. A little flare caught by Adrian, and that's that. So Kenley comes in, gives up a base hit with nothing else, and here they come in the bottom of the ninth. Van Slyke, Crawford, and Puig, 3-1 Rockies. Rockies are leading 3-1. They've led with 3 runs in the 5th inning. They were leading 3-0. The Dodgers got 1 in the bottom of the 5th, and that's it. It's been the battle of the Bees as far as the Rockies are concerned. One Chacin left. It was then Rex Brothers, then Matt Belisle, and here is Rafael Betancourt. Betancourt, like so many others, have been on the DL. He was activated the end of June. He had a right groin strain. They had 2 wins in San Diego, and he had 2 saves. In fact, he saved 14 of the last 15 opportunities. He had a string of 10 saves, and they were playing the Giants, and he allowed a walk-off inside the park home run to Angel Pagan. The Rafael Betancourt from Cumana in Venezuela. He's 6'2", 215. He'll be checking his age. .38. He was signed originally by the Red Sox in 1993. So Betancourt ready to work, and the Dodgers countering Van Slyke, Crawford, and Puig. And a strike. Van Slyke singled to center in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th, singled to center in the 6th. All 2 of his hits were against Chacin. On 1. And a high fly ball to left field. Carlos Gonzalez right there. And 1 precious out here in the 9th inning. And the batter is Carl Crawford. A reminder, Dodgers Live will be coming up right after the game. Carl Crawford banged up, trying to stay healthy. A hard worker whose body just reacts adversely to all of his hard work. He's hitting .274, 5 home runs, 13 runs batted in. And of course, if you like 9th inning drama, if he can get aboard, Puig would come up as the potential tying run, and this crowd of 51,000 would make a little noise. Strike. 51,402, over 206,000 for the 4-game series. Dodgers needed a win to win the series. If they lose, they will split the 4. 1 ball and 1 strike. Crawford against Betancourt, 2 for 6 in the past. One ball and 1 strike. Fouled away. 1-2. Chacin in line to pick up the win. He'd be a 9-game winner at the break. Nolasco in trouble for the loss. Ricky would be 5-9. 1-1 as a Dodger, unless the Dodgers change things around here in the 9th. 1-2. Fouled away down the line. Crawford trying to get aboard, keep the door open. He was going to play Friday night with Puig waiting on deck, but Crawford's lower back stiffened up. 1-2. And a little flare to Tulowitzki. So no matter what happens, you won't have the drama with Puig. It would have been something if Crawford had gotten aboard. So Puig singled as a pinch hitter for the first time in his young career. Scored the only Dodger run. Fly to center in the 6th. And here he is, last go round in the 9th. Following today, the next Dodger game will be on Prime Ticket. That will be on the 19th from Washington, D.C. First in war, first in peace, second in the National League East. Washington. Yasiel loves to go after that first pitch if it's around the plate. Sometimes even if it isn't. Puig 1 for 2 today. At the start of the day, he was hitting .392. Oh, 1. On deck, Skip Schumacher. And a high fly ball to center. Back goes Fowler at the wall and makes the catch. So for Puig and the Dodgers, they go out with a flare 3 times. They've hit one over the head of Carlos Gonzalez, twice to the fence, and Fowler picks it off. And Puig comes up so close and yet so far. So the Rockies, 3 runs, 11 hits, no errors. For the Dodgers, 1 run, 6 hits, no errors. Chacin, the winner, he's 9-4. Nolasco, the loser, is 5-9. In case you cared, Betancourt made 9 pitches. So, for all of those involved, we wish them well in the All-Star game. We hope you take a respite and then look in Tuesday night from the game from New York. And then we'll start talking once again in the middle of the month when the Dodgers start with Washington. Stay tuned for Dodgers Live coming up next. Good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you, Vinny. Welcome out.